Whew, let's do some zooming to get out all the holiday storage. All right, I'm just gonna wait and see if anybody gets on Monday Morning Makeup Live. And Beauty Society did something fun. I really wish we could get a heads up on this kind of stuff. I found out about this last night, and it's an awesome little thing. I just like having a heads up. It's so hard to work on a short notice kind of thing. So, got my Christmas sweater on. I'm going to be Christmas sweatering it as much as possible. I just got some new ones. I got one off of Etsy and it says, from the windows to the wall, I'm about to deck these halls. And I just thought it was super cute. So I got that. And then growing up, my favorite Christmas movie was Scrooged with Bill Murray. Have you seen that one? Good morning, Roseanne. And I found a shirt that has the cover of the movie, which is one of my favorite things, on a t-shirt. So I got that too. So I'm ready for it. I have a swimmer and he is a nostalgia king, kind of like my son. He reminds me of my son, but he's a lot younger. But anyways, we talk about old school. Like I love The Family Stone. I actually really love Feast of the Seven Fishes. Talk about it all the time. Hello, Anne. And I love Scrooged, but I love telling about old movies to watch. I like the original Miracle on 34th Street, not the newer ones. Uh yeah, it's so fun. Okay, so Beauty Society, they are doing a 9 gifts of Christmas. And we all know nothing's actually free, but it is actually a really good day. It's 24 hours, so it's just today and tomorrow they'll have another gift of Christmas. And so today it is Perfect 10, which I talk about their foundation so well because it's great for maturing skin, it's great for dry skin, and it works well with oily skin, which is what I have. But for me, it's really about something that works with maturing skin because you need something with movability. You need something that looks hydrating and throws some life back into your face. And so if you get Perfect 10, and I can color match you. If you use Saint, color match is super easy. You just need to tell me your current colors and I can tell you the things. This is their upgrade eye cream. It is a caffeinated botanical eye cream and it has this little doe foot. I don't feel like you need to refrigerate it. A lot of people like to. If you have one of those little beauty fridges, I don't have one. This is always cold. And so it works just fine for me. I don't like things bitterly cold though. So that could be it. But this little massager just gives you some depuffing and it just you feel fancy using it. And who doesn't want to feel fancy right now? I mean, right now I've already feel like we've breached the shop for ourselves era where I don't feel like many people are shopping for themselves. I did go a little crazy and bought myself a lamp yesterday. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Anyways, now's the time where we're buying for everybody and we're not thinking about ourselves, which is completely fine because this is a great gift. This is a great little stocking stuffer. This is a really great gift. Everybody will love using it. But for yourself, if you are somebody who uses Perfect 10, which I'm going to be using today, you get with it a free setup setting spray. This is also great for people with dry skin. So a lot of people don't have oily skin like me, especially mature women. I feel like I'm a weirdo where I have maturing skin that's oily. This is really great for, I can't use this because I have oily skin. So keep that in mind. So today may not be your day if you have oily skin, but if you have dry skin, and you like added hydration with your makeup, this is a great setting spray. You don't get the travel size. You get a full size setting spray if you get Perfect 10 just today. So I have 3 and I could color match you. Just send me your makeup free. And I'm going to get into doing my makeup today. Little less side chatting. I'm slightly distracted, but when am I not? And I can't find my Christmas cards. I have a box of Christmas cards to mail out. I've done all of them, but there's always those ones where you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You can't find them. So if you have any ideas on where you hide things, I have no idea where I put them. Anyways, it's also storming. You're going to hear a lot of noise. We have a monster storm coming through. Okay. Good morning, Beth. How are you? Who is ready? Who has started Christmas wrapping? Who has finished shopping? I'm going to get some last minute things this weekend. So Merry Christmas. Let's get going. I am now into my full winter shade where anything I put that has a little bit of warmth has been pulling me full Oompa Loompa. So I've had to change a lot of things. But I'm going to be using a lot of fun little products, great stocking stuff for ideas. but today is perfect 10 day because of the sale. I'm going to be combining because I need to. One's just too light, one's just too dark. And then I got this one and it's called Delight and it is even lighter. So you can, what I like about this is you can see all the product that you're using. I'm going to be going between these two, but let's see, Fabulous, Alluring are my two shades that I like to use to give me the balance that I like. I do use a Saint brush. So here's the deal. I like makeup. I use all kinds of different makeup. And but I like finding makeup that is great for maturing, changing skin for dry skin because maturing women have a hard time with that. And honestly, I feel like that really comes with a hydrating, dewy finish with movability because you can take anything and set it down, if that makes sense. So I'm oily. All I need is some setting powder to help set it down to work with it. I also use a skincare regimen by Beauty Society that works with my maturing skin that's also oily because a lot of skincares out there don't check both those boxes and it helps keep back my oily purge throughout the day, especially when I'm putting stuff on it and it's like, so keep that. Let's talk basically. All right. First thing I'm going to do is my eyes. I'm going to keep it so simple today. And I am going to use my favorite primer, which is Singen's Shadow Sense. I don't sell this stuff, but I love this stuff. And it is monstrously windy here today. I don't know what our wind gusts have gotten up to, but they're a doozy. And I gotta get out there today. It's awful. So I'm on the Oregon coast, and so we just get hit with huge gusts, and our house is in a bit of a funnel. Okay, I am going to grab this little doe foot. You want something that cuts down creasing. Lids can get a little greasy, and as you get older, they get a lot of texture, which can create a lot of creasing. So finding something that sets really well and is going to hold your makeup on is key. So I like to use a light amount. This stuff is great because of the pigmentation. It cancels out darkness that you get through maturity, but also I use a lash serum and that can cause lid discoloration. So this helps to cancel that out and give you a nice canvas. And so I just press this out. I'm using a Beauty Society brush. This is the oval fluff brush. This is kind of the shape that I find works best with prepping a lid with primer. I don't like using my finger. I think fingers are dirty and not, I do use my finger for a lot of makeup application, but I don't like to do that with my lids because the oil of my fingers is going to bump up the oil. And then I'm going to take an eyeshadow. So I use Saint makeup primarily, but because I was using Beauty Society skincare and my skin responded so well to it, I had to dive into their makeup too. And they have great makeup. And eyeshadows. I'm going to use a matte eyeshadow first. They have shimmers. Everything with Saint is customizable, and I will be hybriding today. I never don't hybrid because of Saint's pigmentation. I'm going to stick with that oval fluff brush and I'm going to go into the color Cupcake. This is a really nice light color. And when you're wanting a minimal eyeshadow look, having a really light base is going to help add another level. I feel like because a lot of people who want a neutral eye that's really light, not super loud, and it's a good everyday, I don't feel like a clown when I go to the grocery store or get some gas. Doing a nice light base helps punch up the look and gives you that fancy look without looking like you're going to prom when you're going to work. Okay. Just need to pull a few weeds. Anyways, all right. Maybe I need to pull a few more weeds. I don't know. All right. I am going to dive in with a fluffy brush. Just going to put that brush away because I always forget where it is. And we're going to use the eyeshadow brush. I like having a good fluffy brush, but this smaller end is really nice. And I'm going to go in to the color Sedona. This is a really nice, warm, neutral, easy eyeshadow. All right. And we're just going to use a fluffy brush. And this is going to be the transition shade. And I feel like this is really safe. And so I start holding it up and down so it hits my brow bone, but then it's also pushing up so it's going to fade upward. Hello, Pam. Hello, Alice. And we're just going to swirl this up and around. All right. I like my makeup to keep me looking like me, and I don't want it to look like I've put a mask-like layer of makeup on. I love watching those videos, but I still want to feel like people are looking at me without, looking at me. We know the difference, right? We know the difference. And so just spreading this back and forth, windshield wipering, if you have a lot of movement, just tap it out. But having that fluffy brush fans it outward and gives it a really nice, you could stop here if you wanted to. Look, so Sedona's the color. I think this is a great everyday, not super loud color, and it works well with a lot of different colors. I like cool and warm together. Otherwise, I feel like if I go all cool, I go into a washed out look, and I don't like that. So having Sedona as my transition shade is really nice. I'm going to go into my favorite brown color, which is oak. I talk about oak all the time. This was one of my first browns I bought when I started trying Saint. I've been using Saint for 6 years, and there's just no other eyeshadows I use. These last a really long time. There's more bang for your buck. They're $14 a color. There's, as far as grams go, I'm trying to remember how many grams we have in, maybe I have, I don't. I wish they put on there. I wish, oh, they're all way over there. I'm not going to do it. All right. You get more bang for your buck. There's a lot of product in here. These tins are bigger than the average tin. I'm trying to see if I have one of my old palettes around, and I just don't. All right, we're going to use the small end. We're going to tap in. This is a nice cool color, and I'm just going to put this on the outer half of my lid, and then I'm going to slowly circle this, or tap if you need to, up onto the base of that brow bone, like that. This can be really light, really dark. I like oak because you can play it down really well. This is going to look like a mess until the rest of the face is on. That's how eyeshadow always works, and you should be doing your eyeshadow first. This should look like it looks, but don't say, my eyeshadow doesn't look like yours, and always end up washing off. Are you doing that before the rest of your makeup's on? Because you really need, sometimes you got to make a mess to clean a mess. You haven't missed anything, Ashley. I've just put on Sedona and Oak. That's it. And I'm trying to cut my small talk down. These are always so long on Mondays, and I feel really bad because they're just so long. I just get super chatty. I love chatting. I love when people are in the comments. That's my favorite because otherwise I'm talking to myself. But just putting oak on the outer half of the lid and then working it up and out. And we're just going to fluff it up into that Sedona. And then whatever's left just goes down here, and it can be messy. That's the glory of doing your eyeshadow first. You can get fallout. You can go out of control. You can bring it too far out. That way you can taper it back in and really customize placement. But when you let makeup fall out onto your makeup, did I hear somebody in my house? I never know when my husband's going to come home. Anyway, so what's great about making your own hours is hair, guys. It's windy and rainy and it puffs and I can't straighten it. Plus it falls off. Anyways, I I don't even know where I was. Okay, we're going to put on a shimmer. I'm going to go with Drift. I like mixing things up, but Drift is a really nice color because, and I did this kind of backwards, but take that fluffy brush. I'm going to add a little bit on, and I'm going to top some right under my brow bone. I like a little shimmer, and usually I do this first so I don't screw up my eyeshadow, but that's okay. But I just like a little shimmer below my brow, and then I'm going to use my finger because this will punch it up way more. And I'm going to put that on the mid and work it inward. And this is a really nice subtle shimmer. Okay, it's a nice subtle shimmer, and then you can add more at the end. Say you're going to go out in the evening, grab one of those extra punchy shimmers, but this is a low fleck champagne shimmer, and it's bomb.com. All right, now for some liner. We're going to use Saints. These are a silk brush or pencil because they go on really smooth like silk, but then they stay really, really well. I had somebody ask me this week and they love the brush. They don't know how to sharpen it. It's not a sharpening brush. It twists up and then you can just push with your finger or you can use a paper towel. I prefer the finger and then I just wipe it off before it sets. And it's that easy. Or you could spray it with a brush cleaner and it wipes it right off your finger. But you just mold it where you need it. And so I just need a little lift and then get a little mirror. Because I'm going to waterline. I like waterlining. And I've been going back into the old ways and waterlining the bottom, but then I buff it out. Okay. Good morning, Roxanne. My husband wanted to name one of our daughters Roxanne. But he kept singing the Roxanne song. And that's where I drew the line. I said, if I have to listen to you scream Roxanne like that for the rest of our lives, uh-uh. I bet a lot of people sing the Roxanne movie to you. All right. So just giving it a waterline. I just like to hold my mirror down to keep my eyeballs away from the waterline. And I just comb it up from the waterline up the lashes because this will help with fullness and control, especially with a larger pencil. Super simple. And then you want it to come up through your lashes, especially on the outside. And then I'm going to get the bottom waterline. And I don't do a lot. I just do a quick little sweep on the waterline because this stuff, it comes off really easily because again, it's a silk. Then I'm going to take my etch brush on the small end, has a big wide end, but I like the small end. And I'm going to buff along my lash line and pick up some of that liner that I pushed up. And this is going to help me with having some liner that's nice and soft, but it's also going to give the illusion of having fuller lashes, having a nice deep buff out of a soft liner above the outer quarter of your lashes. Doesn't have to be super fancy, doesn't have to be super clean because it's soft and it's easy. And then you could take your fingernail and cleanly give it a little pull because once this sets, it sets. And you don't get to have a whole lot of time. But I like what I call my tiny but mighty wing. All right. Now, mascara. I'm doing pretty darn good with time, I feel like. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. You're delicate, right? So, let's see. Love them as a liner, but you're having such a hard time with using them as an eyeshadow. You got new colors, and I'm so wanting to use them. What are you doing wrong? You need a denser brush. If you want to, I don't like drawing them on and then blending them out. I think that's a way to mature your eyes really easy. I wish I would have done this earlier. I really like, what color did you get? Caramel. So I like to take, did you get the pilot brush? I feel like you did. I don't remember. So tell me if you did. But if you have a smudge brush, which is this brush, or a brush similar to this somewhere around, even a little fluff brush like this, one of those oval ones, will work really well. I love using the pilot brush to use this. Okay, yep. Grab your pilot brush, open it up on the bigger end. So find it. I love this brush a lot. Go to that fluffy end, grab one of your brushes or pencils. I keep calling them a brush, and you're going to just do this to them. You don't need to pick up a lot, and they pick up really easy. This was a clean brush, and then you apply it. It's that simple. Try it that way. I like caramel a lot. This one's one of my favorites. It goes really well with oak, kind of like Sedona. It's so good. So that's what I would recommend. My favorite brush is the Pilot eyeshadow fluffy brush, especially when using these. It's just a little more dense than the eyeshadow brush. It's just a bit shorter, which makes it work really well with the pencils. All right. And then clean it in between because they do set. I do think they dry out the bristles. And yeah, so I'm just going to put this away now. Maybe next week I'll do another one. I feel like I have done a tutorial with the brushes. Okay, but try that. See how, I mean, this stuff just really doesn't want to come off now. I don't have my cleaning wipes, so I'm just going to spray my brush. Don't do this on your face. Spray my wipe with brush cleaning product. That's a good stocking stuffer. Everything is past the point of getting by Christmas guaranteed. So yeah, okay. Yes, okay. It makes it so much easier. But if you put the pencil directly on, you're trying to blend it out, you're going to mature your eyes. And I spent my whole youth doing this with eyeliner, and I am paying for it now. Never thought it happened to me, which is what every kid says, but yeah. Okay, I've been using a new mascara because we had the sale, and I've been doing a new mascara combo. And that is using some of the Saint ones because I kind of trash talk them a lot, especially the Lash Velvet, which I wanted to love so much, but there was fallout. And then I saw Harmony seal it with the Lash Leather, which is a tubing mascara. And that's what I've been doing. So we're going to zoom in and we're going to take a little gander at my bald eye lashes. I'm trying to find my etch brush. There it is. And I just want to grab a little bit from my waterline and just give a little pull. Giving it a little pull, bringing it a little down. That's what's nice. Okay, so we're just going to give a little smokiness. I like smoky eyes. I don't know. Everybody's different. So we're just going to give it a little smokiness. Easy peasy. Okay. Again, this is going to look like a mess for a bit once the face is on, this comes together. But this is my thing. You can't see my lashes. I have really, really fine lashes, and that comes with maturity. That comes with gluing on lashes, especially the ones that last for a week and you're gluing them underneath and press it and they just hang. You lose lashes that way. I don't care what they tell you. You use the oil, you take them off. It's going to take some of your real lashes off. If you look at them, you'll know. But then if you get the extensions, those really do a number. Get a good lash serum. I like Babe Lash. I like Beauty Societies. It's fine. But I'm noticing the more I'm using, and I always give my honest opinion about things. Love to sell you the stuff, love to make the money, but I know what I want out of my lashes, and I want full lashes. So I'm getting good length from the serum. I'm not noticing more fullness. Babe Lash, I noticed it really pushed some growth, and we're not even allowed to say Beauty Society gives growth. And I think that's because it doesn't. I think it helps give strength, and so you get longer lashes. But I'm not seeing the fullness. And so for me, the thing is get a good mascara. I like FanFest by Benefit. It is one of my favorites if you don't want to buy two kinds of mascara. But these were on sale for 14 bucks each. Absolutely worth the price. There is going to be a Boxing Day sale the day after Christmas. They haven't told us what's on the sale, but traditionally, and I just went back and looked at past sales, that's when the big discounts are on the mass products. We were hoping for them on Black Friday, but Boxing Day is the day for the big sale. So the first one I'm going to go into is Saints Lash Leather Velvet. Good Lord. Lash Velvet. This one is a volumizing mascara, which is what I want. And it's not about building volume all over your lashes. It's about creating volume at the base. And so you're going to grab this, and you could tell it's a good volumizer when you have a brush that looks like this. And you're going to go into the base. You're going to wiggle those hairs into the brush and lift. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle on the outside, the middle, and then the inside. And wiggling it gets that base into the bristles. And so you go back across the same way, and this is going to give the illusion of fuller lashes. Okay, you're going to start seeing them. And is Kosas? Oh, I just heard about this stuff. I feel like I have some of their stuff, just not their mascara. I really like Babe Lash's mascara also. And I think it's worth the price because you need just a little bit to get free shipping if you're buying just one serum. But all I'm working on right now is I'm not focusing on the tips. I'm just focusing on the base and lifting so it doesn't get gunky and extra thick and look gunky. But you see the fullness that it's looking like already. And then I'm going to reload and come over here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to wiggle, pull, wiggle, pull, wiggle, pull, wiggle, pull. Do not blink your mascara on. You're not getting your, when you're blinking the mascara on, you're doing the lightest of coats of mascara. And if you want volume on your lashes, you're not going to get it with the blinks. You're going to smash them and you're going to get it on your lid, but you really just want to wiggle, pull, wiggle, pull, wiggle, pull, and work on that base stacking product smoothly. That way you get the illusion of liner that goes all the way across without closing your eye, but you get that look of fullness. So always be lifting. Blinking just doesn't do it. And you can see that my lashes are starting to show up. Then I'm going to go over and I'm going to seal it with lash leather and build length. So we're going to grab that lash leather, which has a small different wand, and we're going to seal it. So now we're just going over that product, sealing it, and then we're going to build some length by coming down, rolling away, and lift. Down, roll away, lift. This is going to coat the tips, give a product to grab onto, and then go back over, and you're going to add. And I always use the tip on the outside to pull my lashes outward, get that little wing, and I have lashes. Lashes I didn't see, and I like using this one on the lower lashes on its own. All right, reload, go to the other side. And again, sealing, sealing, sealing. This is a thinner product, so when you're going over a tacky bottom coat of mascara, you're not gonna get that clunkiness that you would get if you were adding more of a volumizer on top of a tacky volumizer. All right, then we go down, roll away, pull, down, roll away, pull, and then go back up to push those lashes back up and smooth the product. Get that lower lash line. And there we go. Now we're going to put our makeup on. It's going to clean this whole look up, and then we can update our eyeshadow if we want to. Sometimes once the makeup's on, we're like, oh, that looks way better than I thought it was going to. Does that make lash sense? To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to buy two full price mascaras, but when they're on sale, carpe diem. Okay. So if you're looking for a good volumizer that's a one and done, I love FanFest. I did a product test with it where I got their multi-pack, and I would try the others and I just couldn't not use that one. I always went back to it. Okay. Let's talk about liquid foundation and Beauty Society's 9 days of gifts, I think is what they call it. I'll need to try the Kosas one. That one's really good. Okay. Hmm. Perfect 10. I am typically Athens with Saint. Saint is a cream-based 3D foundation. Everything clicks into a little palette, so it's all customizable. It's 80% pigmentation. So you get a lot of coverage without a lot of product. When you're using a liquid foundation, you're getting about 20% pigmentation. And if you get a high coverage that stays all day, it's probably going to mattify. It probably doesn't have movability because it's supposed to stay all day. You want movability on mature skin, especially pores, smile lines, laugh lines, whatever, happiness lines, okay? But this has movability. This has a good amount of coverage, but I'm going to be hybriding with an 80% pigment. And when I say 80% pigment, that's my contour, that's my bronzer, that's my blush. This is concealer in a palette when you pair it with a liquid foundation, which is what you want, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but I got stuff. Okay, so take a gander at my stuff because in a minute it's going to be gone. Okay, so I have all this going on down here. If you have a lot of texture under your eyes, get yourself a good balm. I like Saints. It clicks into your palette. We're going to put that under our eyes. Okay. This is going to help with creasing. This is going to help with hydration. And this is also going to help make those fine lines look healthy. Okay. You're never going to erase coverage. Your fine lines, your pores, your things, your stuff. It's all going to be there. Okay, unless you're going to a doctor and you're lasering things off your face, you're never going to find a topical. I mean, I've been using Beauty Society for 2 years, and they talk about taking this stuff off. If you've been here, I don't talk about that part because I don't think that that's real. I think you have good skin days and bad skin days. There is somebody who sells a skincare line and Saint, and there are days where they don't talk about the stuff being eliminated by the skincare on their bad skin days. It's kind of like if you have rosacea, you get rosacea days and then you have more subtle days. My scarring with some rosacea today is on the what I would consider the higher level. It's really red today and you can really see it. There are some days where it's just minimal. But that doesn't mean I should go on and share my face and say, look what the skincare did, because in the next day it could be blaring. So understand if you're wanting to get rid of hyperpigmentation and scarring, you're not going to find a topical that's going to eliminate that. That is not a surface issue. That is something in your skin. Go get stuff. Go see a dermatologist and go get the stuff. I just haven't done it because my makeup takes care of it, and you're going to see. Okay, I'm going to use the Buff brush. This is a Saint brush. Their brushes are probably going to be on sale on Boxing Day. This is the Buff brush. It's a high coverage brush, especially when you're working with 80% pigmentation. But with a liquid foundation, I love it because it spreads it out and you don't lose it in the fluffiness. Okay, I'm going to use, again, two colors. I'm going to use Fabulous first. This is a darker shade. I'm just going to do a tiny amount. You don't need to put foundation all over your face. And I think I'm saying that partially because I'm using something that has such high pigment with it that's going to work as a concealer. This is the color Alluring, and I'm going to do a little bit more. Do you see that? And you can see how far off they are, but you'll notice it doesn't absorb in to the brush. So a lot of those watery foundations that are oil-free, they just absorb into the brushes and this stays sitting. Okay. This is an oil-free. It is an age reversing foundation, and anything age reversing is just an extra boost. It does shouldn't be replacing your skincare, but there is products out there, especially those that say they'll stay all day. Those are great for when you have more youthful skin and you don't have the stuff I have. I mean, I've got stuff. All right, pores. I've got fine lines. I mean, I'm 45, guys. I've got texture under my eyes. I've got texture. My skin is a texture, and doing those scrubs are great. Do it once a week. Too much is too much. Shaving your face also helps with the fuzziness look, but just saying, okay? Having a makeup that works with the skin you have to have it look better is you can have your cake and eat it too. You shouldn't have to make the trade-off of matte skin that doesn't show your stuff, but then you have this thick texture that cracks, that gathers, that looks like crap by lunch. You shouldn't have to make that trade-off. So finding something with movability, I have heard and I'm getting it. I haven't got it yet, but House Lab, I guess, has a really good foundation. A friend of mine just used it. She convinced me I'm going to give it a try because I like finding foundations. Not everybody wants a heavy cream. Finding something that works. I think using something with high pigment with liquid foundation is going to be the game changer. But if you have dark circles, you want high pigment. If you have hyperpigmentation, especially where contour or bronzer goes or blush, you want something with high pigment so that you don't have to have a thick makeup to cover it. All right, this is still sitting on top of the brush, not all like gone and wet looking. This is nice and heavy, but it's not. It's 20% pigmentation, and I'm just going to use this to really just balance and mute. So down here where I don't have a lot of stuff, I'm going to balance. And then I'm going to mute this stuff. So first, I almost missed it, is a primer. I'm going to use Milk Hydro Grip. You can use your setting spray. I would say spray a brush and then spread it with a fluffy brush. If you're going to use setting spray as a primer, I like my Milk Hydro Grip. I put it on my cheeks first because that's where my stuff is. And yeah, so I'm just going to spread this all around. I don't really put it under my eyes. I let my balm be the balm. But I'm going to get it into my smile lines. I'm going to put it on my pores. I'm going to cover my stuff with this primer. And it creates this good amount of stick that then absorbs in, but it's going to help hold that makeup. All right. And that's kind of what you want. I would pin my hair back, but I always hate how I look. And I'm vain. Okay. I'm vain. Not that my hair's any better, but maybe I will. Do I have clips or did my kids take them? All right. Nobody's coming in this room. It's a disaster in here from Thanksgiving to Christmas. All right. Grabbing that stuff that's still just sitting. It didn't even run when I laid it flat. Okay. We're going to go and we're just going to bring this around on the sides of the face here. And this is just balancing this lower part. It's going to bridge down my neck. I'm going to come down through my chin or over my nose or mouth, under my nose, and then under this chin where I get some redness. And then I'm going to use this to just stipple around. This is going over my pores. This is going over my scarring to mute my hyperpigmentation. But I'm only putting this on the lower part of my face because I know when I hybrid this with my Saint, I'm going to get extra coverage because it's 80% pigmentation and I'm working with the tones of my face, the shadow tones, because our face isn't one color. We shouldn't have to turn our face one color just to go restructure it. Okay, if you get a lot of movability on your face, stipple the heck out of it. This is a dense brush, so it works really well with moving the makeup without stealing your product. All right, so I've muted. You can still see my stuff, but it's just muted down. Okay. Just bringing this around. I go up onto my bottom lip here, just smile. I bring it down on my lip. This is nice for when you're gonna try to give your lips structure. You want to give some coverage on the lines of your lips. Not because we're gonna outer line, because that's not a color issue, that's a texture issue. The texture of your lips is different than the texture of your face. And a lot of people have a defined cliff from lip to face. And if you have that outer lining, looks a lot more outer lined, but everybody knows when you're outer lining, it really doesn't make your lips look bigger. It just looks like you missed your lips. But I'm gonna show you how I do it. Okay, so this is nice and evened out, pressed out, 20% pigmentation. So I put this on and my skin still skins, but it has a good dewy finish. Okay, and again, if you get this today, so message me for a color match. you get a free setting spray, which is good for dry skin. Again, if you're oily, maybe wait another day. I don't know. See what the next gift is. I don't use this because I'm oily. I'm just going to say that. Okay. Good morning, Debbie. My sweater is an AI faux pas. I thought I was going to get one that had like stitching on it. It's just printed stitching, but it's still pretty. And I still wear it. I've had it for 2 years. It's still nice. And you don't, sweaters last forever for the holidays because you only get to wear them for a short amount of time. Okay. So this is on, and now I can go in and I can do some restructuring. I can either do Saint or I can do some more Beauty Society if you want. They have quite a few products, but I do like a less is more, and I do like something that's fast. So yeah, going into my Saint, we're just gonna leave it, I think, at perfect 10 because that's the deal of the day. I hate deals of the day. I don't know how much longer I'm with Beauty Society. I wish that they did things a little more. I want to be able to get an advent calendar and show it to you guys. Instead, I just get to order a day before you guys. And I'm like, why? I can't show it to you guys so you guys, you know what I mean? Anyway, all right. If you have a lot of texture on your chin, around your mouth, between your brows, large pores, skip a concealer that's a shade or two lighter. I'm not saying don't use the concealer because you want that extra kick, but just don't use a color that's too light because it's going to really accentuate the texture that you're putting it on. All right. I am going to stick with the buff brush. I'm going to go in on the small end and I'm going to go into a color called White Peach. This is a bit light for my skin tone. I'm going to tap into it and I'm going to go right here. Concealer does two things. It conceals, but it also works to show reflecting light to keep with your dimension. I have reflecting light all right here down my nose. It hits my chin. It gets me right down here. You can really see the texture. So we're going to, instead of, again, we can't get rid of our texture. It'll all still be there, but we're not going to accentuate it. We're not going to have that trade-off. So I'm going to take this color and I'm going to go right here. Okay. And we're going, it's a high 80. This is what 80% pigmentation looks like. I'm going to hit my Cupid's bow and then I'm going to get right here on my chin, flip it, tap this out, tap this out. And this is just going to give me that dimension, that raised look. Lightness pulls out, darkness pulls in. I'm going to skip my nose because I'm going to contour it first. But we're going to take this part right here. We're going to pull this over the brows. I don't need any more for this part. And we're going to pull this out and up. Okay, this should be lighter than your skin unless you have a lot of texture and then you don't need to. But this is going to give you good coverage, but this is also going to give you dimension and it's going to give you balance. And because it's creams, it's going to work with the texture of your face really well. And then pairing it with the tones, the darker tones, the warmer tones, when they start coming together, that's when you start seeing your life lift and come back to life, which is what you want out of your makeup. Makeup will always look like makeup. To think you're going to put some makeup on and it's not going to look like makeup, all your stuff is shining through. You can have pretty makeup. It's like you can have an ugly dress or you can have a pretty dress. You're still wearing a dress. We're wearing makeup. It could look like good makeup. It could look like bad makeup, but you're still wearing makeup. Okay. So having a makeup that works with changing skin is going to change the difference. So I'm just stippling this in. I prefer the stipple method. I think it gets everything into the nooks and crannies of mature skin. Again, 45. And I'm gonna do what I want to do. I used to wear that stay all day, and then I got into my 30s, and people started saying my skin made me look, or my makeup made me look older than I am. I was like, ew. And so I started the search for finding something else, and then I found Saint, and I fell in love with it. Then when I found Beauty Society, I loved the skincare, so then I decided I should try the makeup, and then I love the foundation. Do I like Saint more? Yeah, I always like makeup. You should like your makeup, but what if you could like it more? That's the only difference for me. I always liked my makeup. Now I like it more. And I feel good by noon without having to pile more on. Okay. Now I'm going to go into contour and it's a cream contour. I obviously love it. It's cedar. It's going to be cool tone. This is my bronzer. This is Xanadu and it has a little fleck in it. So it gives you a little hint of shimmer. I might use it. I might not. I really don't know. I'm going to stay with the buff brush and I'm going to go into cedar and I'm going to go right over here. This, if I add warm on top of this, I'm going to go full Oompa Loompa. And we don't, I did the other day and my son on FaceTime was like, use self tanner. I knew I had made a mistake. So we're going to use just a cool tone cedar and we're going to push this over here. And then I'm just going to swirl it towards the middle, sticking to the hairline. And again, if you have a lot of movement, just stipple it, bring it down to that temple. And this has 80% pigmentation in it. So this is working as coverage, a concealer. I mean, if your concealer can be too light, can't it also be too dark? Yes. And then it could be your contour. And so you're getting coverage, we're getting balance, and we're getting coverage. And then I'm going to bring this downward to the outer part of my brow, which is why I don't do my brows yet. And you get that coverage, but it cools down that warm. So if I want to add bronzer, I can, but it's not going to make me look like an Oompa Loompa. All right, grabbing some more of that cedar. I'm not grabbing a lot. Okay, and again, right over here, pushing it into that hairline because I have thinner hair around the crown because bibis. All right, anyways, bringing that up and down, and then I come down towards the outer part of my brow, and then I'm going to flip it to this bigger end, and I'm just going to lift this lightness into the darkness, and I get coverage, I have balance, and I have dimension. That's a good looking forehead. I'm really good at doing foreheads, which is why I always start with my forehead. All right, sticking with that smaller end, we're going to go back into that cedar, and we're going to go above this natural shadow here. I'm going to come to the top part and work my way down my cheekbone. I'm above that natural shadow. If I go into the shadow, I'm going to pull my face down and I'm trying to create lift. And I want to underblend this. I'm going to add blush here. I may add some bronzer with it. So if I do that with this fully blended, it's going to blend it away and you won't see it. And everybody who messages me saying, I can't see my contour, maybe because you're over blending. Okay, we don't want to be done yet. So we put this in above that natural shadow. And it doesn't have to be even, it doesn't have to be perfect. This just has to be put in place. And I go towards my temple. This works really well. Cedar, stone, olive, ash work really well with hyperpigmentation, whereas other ones can deepen it and pull it through and accentuate it rather than just enhancing our pretty face, okay? All right, I'm going to use my finger here. I'm going to go into cedar here with my finger, and I'm going to go up the top side of my nose here. Lower part, kind of right below the nose pads where your glasses hit. And I'm just going to go around the tip. And then I can push this upward towards the brow. I prefer a finger here. Just, I feel like I get a little more control. And then I can take this brush and I could tap it around, bringing it to that brow. Again, another reason why I don't do my brows yet. If I was doing this, I'd screw all the hard work up. I always do it at the end. We're just tapping it around. I do bring it together because I have a little bit of a bump, and it's that easy. Okay. Boom. If you have any questions, ask. If you have questions about colors, if you want to be color matched for this makeup, message me. There's a link in the description to shop any of the things that I have here, to get color matched with me, just to email me. It's whatever you want. All right, I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to use my pinky to grab that white peach concealer, and we're going to go right down the middle. Using another finger, we're just going to sweep this up and down. This is going to give me straightness. Then I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to bridge the colors together on the edge. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, okay? I like to do my under eyes after my blush. I'm going to use this Frenchy color here. This is my favorite color because it does so many things, okay? And so these are all affordable colors. These are 16 bucks each. Your foundation, your contours, all of these colors, 16 bucks. That's a really good deal for makeup. And then you get discounts based off of how many tins go in your cart on palettes. And this isn't the only size palette. You can have this is called a 12. You can get this guy here. It's a 27. We've got 18s, which just means it's a double decker. This is an 8. So there's all different sizes. Okay. Okay. Which bracelet? There's so many bracelets. There are so many bracelets. Okay, we are going to go in and we're going to add some blush, but I'm also going to show you how I use this color as a tool. So Frenchy is great as a corrector. So I have this darkness under my eye. I'm going to take the Frenchy that's on my finger. You can kind of see it. We're going to go right here over that balm that I put down earlier. We're going to push this up and out, and it's going to mix with that balm, but it's going to turn that darkness peach. Okay, we're going to look a little sickly. That's okay. Very minimal amount, okay? We're going into that inner corner, up and out. You want it thin because it's 80% pigmentation. 80% pigmentation is the key, okay? You're not gonna find a concealer out there that has 80% pigmentation. You're gonna find other stick foundations, like Hourglass has a really good one, I think, but it's still 40% pigmentation. It's still half of Saint's pigmentation, and it's over half the price. So $16 a color, or you're gonna pay $40, $50 for one color. It's up to you, okay? I like a dewy finish, but I'm oily. So I don't want to bump over to greasy. I like to have a nice natural finish. My makeup will always look like good makeup. I like makeup and I like this one more. Okay, we're going to take that Frenchy color again and we're going to use it on the apple. So I have that stuff, that I muted down with my foundation. We're going to put this right over the stuff and it's going to work with whatever blush I want. If you use a really bright blush that you like, it can pull it through. So you want to make sure you're using blushes that work well with whatever your stuff is. So message me and let's talk about your stuff because rosacea, those are wildly wild colors and they don't always work with the same stuff because sometimes it's a deep purpley red, sometimes it's a bright vibrant red, sometimes it's a peachy. Everybody's different. Okay, so I'm taking this Frenchie and it's going over my old scarring because my makeup, and I'm a face toucher, I used to get horrible cystic acne on the lower part of my face, so I have scars left behind. All right, the next color I'm going to go into is Hollywood. It's more of a bright pink and I'm going to put that up here. And I like a little bit of warmth with my blush. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of Xanadu and I'm just going to pop that right here to go with it. Okay. Let's see. Natural makeup. So here's what I'm going to say about, I prefer natural makeup. My makeup's going to look natural in a minute. That natural makeup isn't, it's makeup. Makeup is makeup. Some of it is bolder. Some of it is natural. Um, if you're talking about natural ingredients, Saint has really minimal ingredients and they have it all out there for you. But natural is a matter of preference of colors more than anything. The amount you apply on determines if you're considered a natural makeup wearer also. Whereas Saint can be super light coverage, can be super full coverage. It's really about the brush and the way you put it on that matters. Okay, that's my opinion on natural makeup. I have such a hard time with natural makeup. You found that Frenchie didn't work well on your under eyes. What discoloration under the eyes would you say Frenchie works best for? I think it works well with a good it's a medium darkness, I would say. I have medium darkness. If you have really dark under eyes, it could be a different color that you need. I've seen people use bright pinks. I've seen people use reds under their eyes. If they have a more green tone under the eyes, let's see, hold on. Get a color wheel. That is my biggest advice, is to get a color wheel because when it comes to discoloration, brown isn't brown, it's green. But get a color wheel and whatever color you find, you want to go to the opposite of the color wheel. So if I have more of a medium blue purple, I'm coming over here and I'm getting those orange colors. And so you want to play with the color wheel a little bit, but also send me a picture and let's talk more about it. All right. So I am going to take that buff brush. Do I want to use the buff brush? Yeah, we'll use the buff brush. Ooh, I like a fluffy brush under the eyes. Under eyes, less is more. And having a high pigment means you get way less. If you're using a traditional concealer, which I love the Beauty Society one, this has anti-aging in it, which is also great. But if you're using Tarte sets, it doesn't have a lot of movability with it. So you're going to get creasing, you're going to get cracking and gathering because it doesn't have movability. What's another one that I like that I've used? NYX. This one I found creates a lot of texture, but if you love them and you want them to be better, go and get yourself a balm and prep and then put on your concealer. Okay. Let me see. I think I look lovely with my hair a mess, but I appreciate it. I can't body wave my hair. Ooh, it shortens up. Goes real short. I don't know. I always look like a newscaster when I try that. I've never been able to get it done. Okay, I'm going to take this fluffy brush and I'm going to blend out this blush. I'm going to start at the top and we're just going to give some circle blends, tapping and bringing it down. I prefer to blend my blush out with a fluffier brush, whereas a dense brush, I just think it can pick up when it comes to the blush. And so I'm just bringing it down, keeping it up high, then bringing it to that Frenchy color. I do try to recommend a color you can use more than one thing with. And so if I think Frenchy may not work and it's a darker color where I think a red would work better, I might recommend one of our cream correctors. Pardon my background. All right. Cream correctors used to be called Demi. They have all of these. These are corrector colors, so they won't work as lip colors very well. But these colors cover so many things on the color wheel. So I may recommend colors like these before I would recommend a different blush color, because I want you to get the most out of your makeup, especially when it comes to your under eyes. All right. Under eyes. They are a texture, they are a soft tissue. Okay. Some of us have puffiness, some of us don't. Some of us are very sunken in, some of us are very dark, some of us have this deep trough. And it's really about application. You want the least amount of makeup on this because it's going to accentuate the puffiness and it's going to enhance fine lines. And if you put too much on, it's going to crease a lot. And if you have something that doesn't have movability, it's really hard to reset it. So I work with my natural shine here. And I will just email me. You don't need to put your original picture on there. You can email it to me. Okay, so we're going to live outside. This is our color line. We want to stay outside of this so that we don't accentuate anything going on here. So we have our orbital bone and our eyeball holding these two places tough. And then you got this guy. It's like a hammock. So putting too much here is going to accentuate all this going on. So I'm going to take my concealer color, which is, where are you? Oh, right here. The white peach. I'm going to take a fluffy small brush. This is a shape brush. You can get this in a collection with setting powder, which is why I like using it more than the blend brush that I used to use. So we're going to take this smaller end. We're going to go into white peach. You see that? There's not a ton on there. And we're going to go into this little shine right here. And I'm going to just hit right here and I'm going to go up my orbital bone. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to bring it up into that inner corner right there, okay, where I get some darkness. Super simple. And we're going to tap this around. We're going to tap this into that blush, and then we're going to bring it onto that soft tissue. And I'm tapping it because I have that balm and that Frenchie on. And I don't use beauty filters. I think that they're great. But if you're talking about makeup, then you're a liar. All right. I love a good filter when the moment calls for it. But this is going to help. I still have texture. My stuff is still here, but it's enhanced rather than accentuated. And then I can add more blush if I want to, because over here it looks pretty pumpy. Over here it's nice and subtle and a little more natural. All right, grabbing some more. I'm going to grab that, hitting that smile shine first, up the orbital, up into that inner corner here. Okay. And then just tapping it out. This is going to clean up and lift your eye because we're working in an upward motion. And then we can go on to that soft tissue last. Because it has 80% pigmentation, we get little product, maximum coverage. Again, I'm 45. But this gives me a nice skin-like finish. It looks like makeup because makeup will always be makeup. And that's at the end. Okay. All right. But you should be able to do your, I try to find a lot of tutorials for inspo because a lot of tutorials have a lot of makeup on. They put such heavy makeup on, and that just doesn't work with everyone. And a lot of those women that do that, they spend a lot of money on some skincare stuff. Okay, so I'm going to set this again. I'm oily, so the products that I use, I want to keep from going from dewy to greasy. So we're going to use, let's see, I have Professionals. I really like this one. It seals. I really like Blue Marble. I'm just waiting for Santa to deliver it. And I don't like a hydrating setting spray. So if you have drier skin, balanced skin also, which people call normal, which that is not, but I like to call it balanced. This setting spray is really great by Beauty Society because, again, today, Beauty Society, which is the foundation I use, if you buy a perfect 10, you get a full size. This is a travel size set up setting spray. You can use it to prep. You can use it to set. It's really good. Okay. we're going to take our setting spray and we're going to get our face good and damp. Okay. We're just going to spray it. I like the mister on this one a lot. I don't like to spray and get surprised, you know. Okay. So we're going to put that on and then I'm going to go and get my setting powder. I use Saints, surprise, surprise. And this one is the blotting dust. I keep two in here. And this one has a sheen to it, which is going to help my skin look like my skin. Powder's always going to change the consistency. It's like gravy, okay? Putting some Bisquick in there, okay? But it will always change the consistency of your makeup, okay? So while the face is a little bit damp, we're going to take some setting spray, not a lot, and we're going to go over, find your low texture zone. Okay, so if you have a bunch of texture between your brows, you should not apply powder directly to it. It's just going to accentuate it. Start on the outside where you have the least texture, wherever that is for you, and then you work your way down like glitter, okay? Because it may look gone, but it ain't gone. Okay, so powder's a tricky thing like glitter, okay? So you put it in the lowest texture area and then bring it back, okay? To your texture zone. You want the powder to powder, but you don't want the powder to powder. You know, I go greasy pretty quick, but my skin will still have a sheen to it. It's just in a couple hours I'm gonna be greasy. But if I put this stuff on, not it comes in a collection with this brush, blotting dust, feather blotting dust. They have vanilla dust, which is more matte. The other setting powder I use if I'm not using blotting dust is the Laura Mercier. If I know I'm good, like my kids are on swim team. And so I spend a lot of time at pools. It's hot in there, especially during a swim meet. Boy, howdy. Okay. So I like to use that setting powder when I'm doing a swim meet. All right, grabbing some low texture. Don't forget, we all talk on our phone, right? Touches your face, pulls up your makeup. Especially if you're like me and you have stuff in that area, go to the temple or wherever your least texture is and cover that phone zone. And just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Taparoo. I still have a sheen because it has that sheen in it. Combination skin. I would say if you are combination skin, you want something that does more sealing than hydrating. So I would suggest, and I was hoping Amazon would put this one on sale. This is an Amazon buy. Blue Marble. You'll know it's a blue marble because it's got a blue. That one, hands down, is my favorite. I have bought 4 bottles of it. It's on the pricey side, but worth it. But you can also get it in a travel size. And I tell everybody, if you can try it in a travel size, try it in a travel size because you can always get the full size and then you have that travel size to refill, keep going with you. But try it and see if you like it in a travel size. And Blue Marble comes in a travel size. So does Professionals. Anytime you try anything, if you can get it in a travel size, get it. Okay. But taking that brush, going into that setting powder again, and we're going to come over here to that low texture area. I always cover my phone area first because I'm on the phone a lot. And then I go over my pores and my under eyes last, and especially around the outside of my mouth. Now I'm 45, so I have straw lines, I have deep smile lines, I have a nose crease, and then I have pores, and my pores will get bigger with age, and that's that. Okay. And then when I feel like I don't need to reapply any powder, I go around my mouth when I think it's gone. And again, think I got glitter, think about crafts. It's never gone. And at this point, we can check our eye makeup, which I think my eyes look way better than they did at the beginning because it cleaned it up, make a mess to clean a mess, kind of a thing. Okay. At the end of the day, to fix my makeup is this brush. This is the shape brush that comes with that setting powder. I don't apply anything to it. When I'm using Saint makeup, I know I don't have to reapply more makeup because that's just at the end of the day going to enhance any texture or accentuate any texture. So I'll take these brushes that are empty at the end of the day. I don't touch any of the makeup and I'll go down and I'll reset it and press it back out. Sometimes I'll use my finger. If I have a lot of creasing, that means you've put on too much product and you can just press it back out, take the brush and even it out and just tap around with an empty brush. I keep one in my car and I could just tap it back out, add a little lippy. My favorite lippy is this with Saint, you get points with purchases, and this has, I think, 110 points, which isn't outrageous. And you get a free, this one's called Sprinkles. You can only get it with points. It's a really good one. I also like chai, which you can buy, but I prefer having a bit of pigment in my gloss because I think it makes my makeup look better. So these two, which is birthday cake and marshmallow, I just think will wash me out, which is why I get like a lip oil. Okay. Smile lines are not always related to age. It can be smoking. I also think it just really depends on genetics, but lips move. And if there's no lines, there's probably a reason for some people. I haven't, I've tried a lip flip. That does not erase lines, that just relaxes these muscles. And so I do lip flips for events, like if I'm in a wedding or something. I don't do a bunch of events, but if I do events, then I'll get a lip flip because I get anxiety and then my lip curls in. But it just relaxes it. Bad lifestyle, maybe. Maybe everybody's lifestyle is different. Stress, that's a bad lifestyle, but everybody's got it. Um, all right. So I've set my face, and this is where I'll decide, do I want to add more blush? I'm going to add some more blush because I like a little blush. I'm going to take that Hollywood and I'm just going to add up to the high point of my cheek. I do this just because I don't want to put it over my scarring, but I also don't want to put it over my large pore. So I just keep my blush a little up high, and then sometimes I'll put it right in the middle of my nose. All right, let's pop on some brows. They are my favorite. So that oak color I put on my eyes, I have in this little palette. This is my brow palette. I like eyeshadow more than anything else, and I don't have wild hairs, so I don't use wax or goop for it. And I just take a little spoolie, give them a little comby comb, and I don't think I have terrible brows, but I like them better. Now, this is where I feel like I venture different from a lot of people. I think my brows are great for people who, now bear with me, don't like a bold brow, but they're getting married or they're going to prom. So if you're having any of those two things, you want a bolder brow because when you take your pictures, they're going to get settled way down. And if anybody knows and they've ever taken pictures, you need bolder liner, bolder colors, because 50% of that gets taken away in a picture. Anyways, I'm going to take a small angle brush. This is a Saint brush. I'm going to go into oak, tap some off for fallout, and I'm just going to structure this corner here because it looks like it's a little diagonal. And I'm just going to match that line. And then I'm going to go right up here and give it some hair strokes. That's all I really want to add right here. But this structures your brow out so much more. Okay, grabbing some more oak, and I'm going to extend the length of my brow by just following my natural line of my brow here, and then going straight out and just extending the tail. Grabbing a little more of that oak, going a quarter of the way in, and I'm just going to define my arch right here, and then out. You can go and buy stencils for brows and find the shape that you like. Grab a little more just to define this tail, and then blend, blend, blend. Grab that spoolie. You're going to comb up. I would say if you don't know how you like your brows yet, but you want them more structured, get the stencils and try them out. All right, same thing on the other side. We're just going to square off this little front corner and then flick right up here, just square it off, give it some structure. Everybody likes their brows different. If you just need to fill in a few holes, fill in a few holes. I like a punchy brow. I think doing my brows last also gives it something to grab onto. So it's holding onto that makeup I laid down, that cream, and it's going to stick to it really good and it lasts all day. All right, grabbing on, and I'm just going to fill in some bald spots over here. And then grab that spoolie, give it a little comby comb. And those are my brows. I like a bold brow. That's just who I am. All right, we're going to dive in. I'm doing pretty decent on time. Pretty decent. Okay, I'm going to do my lips. I don't do filler. I have my father's lips. They're a little thin. I've also put some makeup on them. And that's because I have, oh, it's getting late here. So you're going to bed. Good night. Have a great day. I have what I consider, I'm zooming in here because I like zooming in, 2 lip lines. Everybody has them. Grab a mirror, take a gander, and you have your outer lip line here, and then you have an inner one. And this is going to give our lips lift. Okay, and then I have a thinner lip line, but I'm going to structure the lip line on at the edge here. Okay, and it's really about color. If colors, there's no rules. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say that. I don't think that there's rules for colors. If you feel good in it, if you have a bold eye and a bold lip and you feel good, you're good. Makeup is personal. And it's personal to you because despite what a lot of men think, we're not wearing it for them. Wearing it for us because when I walk by a mirror, I want to feel good. I don't want to get all in what my daughter calls upsetty spaghetti when I see the other me in the mirror. So I like to do my makeup in a way that's going to make me feel my best because then you get my best. And that's it. I like things to be on the more neutral side, but for me, I want fuller lips without the price tag of injections or the pain or the possible migration, all the things. Just, I think natural lips are coming back. Thank God. Okay. I'm going to use a product that's not any of the makeups. This is that Kulfi. This is that rose color. It's so pretty and it lasts it as a stain. It looks pretty at first. And then as it wears down, you still get color on your lips. And then you could just carry around what I would say chai because it's the easiest one to carry around. It's so pretty to just top on top of it once the color has worn down. Okay, but first we're going to contour our lips because this makes such a huge difference when you're wanting fuller lips. And I talk about it all the time. I have videos I dedicate to it. I need to redo it again because I feel like it's something that needs to be redone every 3 to 6 months, but I'm just going to clean a brush here. This is a multitasker brush. And it's my favorite lip brush because it's perfect for contouring. And it's also perfect for putting other things on because it's got two very distinctive ends. All right, just cleaning it up a little bit. So we have this wide end. This is the perfect contour end. It's thin and we got pointy. Okay, we're going into our contour with the big end. All right, we're going into cedar, which is what I put on my everywhere. And I'm going to go right here in underneath my lip instead of outer lining right here. And you can make it a little thicker right here. Okay. And that already gave my lip definition, but I'm not outer lining it. Okay. Yes. You love that's good. Okay. I didn't know what the GM is. Okay. So we're going back into it. We're going to do the same thing on the top in the middle, but we're going to keep it thin like a Gomez Adams. Okay. So we're going to go outside of the lip. Okay. Outside of the lip. You can even add a little right here. So you can't go up in the middle, but just a touch. And this is going to accentuate. This is just pretty. And this is going to give your lip a structure. Okay. Then we're going to go into that brightening highlight. I like when I use all these things all over again. And you're like, oh, she used that there. Oh, she used that there. Okay. I like when something does more than one thing. It's probably trauma response from my husband telling me my kitchen appliances have to do more than one thing. Tell that to my jar lid popper. Okay. Okay. We're going in to white peach. Okay. And we're going to do the greater than less than sign. And we're going to go right out here outside of that contour, but touching the corner of the lip. Okay. You can make this thick. Now we've seen celebrities on red carpets where they have powder mouth, and I'm thinking it's probably for the same reason. Okay. And then we're going over here and doing the same thing. Okay. Okay. Bing, bang, boom. This wind, guys. Do you guys hear it the whole time? Have you heard it the whole time? This is creating two things, okay? Structure, pout, but also contrast. That's the word. I always forget that word. We're going to use our little fingers here. We're going to tap out the brightness. I remember a while ago seeing celebrities show up with this white powder around their mouth. I feel like they're going for the same thing, but missing it just a hot minute. I saw somebody do this method and it was overdone. It doesn't have to be overdone. It's little things. It's like collecting pennies. Okay. It's little things that make a difference. I'm use a different finger and I'm just going to tap out my soul patch right here. This just gives that look of a shadow, right? You can see I'm oily, guys. This is where the oily like bugs the heck out of my. All right. And then we could tap out the top And then we tap out here. You could even take, if there's any white left from that white peach, and there is, I'm going to hit right here and here. Lightness pulls out, darkness pulls in. That's how we're able to structure a cheek and reshape our nose and pout out our lips. Okay, so this just gives you a really good contrast. If you are a lip liner, when you're lining your bottom lip, just line on the very edge of your lips. Okay, but when you're lining this double line, go on that inner lip line until you get to about a quarter of the way down and then hit that lip line and it'll give you a good lift. Okay, you topped it with white peach and I think it's working great. Yay! Okay, I like the white peach. I think it works really. I sometimes say sunlit because sunlit has the yellow undertones, but I think you could probably get away with just sunlit more than you could get away with just white peach. White peach sometimes just needs a little assistance, like with Frenchie. Okay, I'm gonna do this Kulfi color. I may add lip liner after. It really just depends. Okay. Honestly, I used okay, so the Gomez Adams. I used there's other I can never think of the right way to call it. But everybody remember, and I'm not talking about the new Gomez. I'm talking about the OG Adams's family Gomez. Okay, we're gonna take this Kofi. This has gold in it, and I feel like you never can see what I'm saying when I'm showing it, but there are gold flecks in the rose. All right, and we're gonna just go to the very edge. Do not outer line your lip. You just look like you just learned to put on lipstick, but just push it to the edge, okay? Let the shine of the gloss live on that lip of the lip, and it will work as a liner and all the things you want it to do, okay? This one did take a while for shipping. Not that I did want to say. This does take a while for shipping, but it is worth it. All right, so I just put this on. And again, I don't outer line. I just get as close to the edge and it's like children. Your lipstick should be like your children. They should test the limits, but they shouldn't go over the border. Okay. All right. This is a really pretty natural color. This is where I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, I have a more natural makeup look. I mean, there's women out there doing these tutorials and it's just wild. And all right, go into the bottom lip. I'm going to hit the middle first. Okay. Get that middle. You can be a little wild on the bottom. I feel like the top lip is is wild. Okay? So we're going in the middle and then I'm going to do that inner lip line to the lip. I love this color. Okay. Inner lip line. I'm going to zoom in on this side. Hey. All right, so you see that outer lip line right down here. We're going to go to that inner one. Right here and then down. Okay? Does that help? And then your lip has that stiletto of your lip. If you think adding some contour and some lightness around your lips is going to turn you into Angelina Jolie, Scarlett Johansson, or whoever, then you need to go see a doctor about it because they need you need to do the things to get them that big. But if you want your thinner, natural lips to look a little fuller, yeah, you can do that. But this works as a stain. So when this gloss wears down, the color stays behind. And then you could grab something like Chai is one of my favorites, or sprinkles with points. If you have the points, get sprinkles. It's worth it. And those are my two top picks on our lip oils. I've used some of the lip oils with Beauty Society. They're very thick. These ones are really thin and hydrating and really good if you get chronic chapped lips. Our oil is so good. It is so good, and I love it so much. But I do think it's too late to get mostly anything you're wanting for Christmas, but a bet against bet you can get these stains in time for Christmas. These are those lip liner stains. I've used them a lot. I love them. I think nude and mauve, and it's mauve because that's how it's spelled. So it's mauve, but it's spelled mauve. And then there's nude. Those are my two top picks for these. I love them. I probably use nude the most. Mauve, if you have a deep tone to your lips naturally, it really pulls on those things. It pulls. It pulls. But I really like this guy. If and I'm kind of tempted to add some liner. So I am gonna go into a palette. Which palette? This palette. And I'm gonna grab my tried and true favorite, which is Renaissance. We're gonna get that multitasker brush and I'm gonna go into Renaissance here. And I'm just gonna add a little depth up here. Not outer lining, just depth. Just some depth. It's so good. And I just think it helps. I don't know. It's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm weird. I'm probably weird. Okay. That's my live. That's my live. I'm going to take this brush, not adding any powder to it, but I'm getting a little greasy. So I just take this brush and this is how I reset at the end of the day if I feel greasy. And look, it just resets it. That's how I reset my makeup. If I feel like I over apply anywhere, if it gets shiny, empty, and I just grab it and add more. All right, that's my live. My hair is at a loss because I don't know if you've heard this whole live, but it's windy here. It's real windy. And I have some things to do. The light got a little brighter. It's a brighter, cloudy, stormy day here, but we've got windstorms all week. We've got rain for the foreseeable future. My son will be here for Christmas this weekend, so not for Christmas. He's only here for the weekend because he works, but I'm going to go get ready for him and making this house. My son has high demands. All right. High demands. But just look at the beginning. I think everybody, including me, questioned my eyeshadow. But then you add the rest and it all makes sense. Okay. But that's it. And I think that's it. So again, I'm just going to reiterate this before people totally start dropping off. If you're interested in Perfect 10 foundation today only, you get a free full size setting spray with it. Message me for a color match. If you use Saint, just send me your current colors and I can color match you to whatever it is. I'm typically Athens and I do have to combine Alluring and Fabulous with it. If you are candlelit, I would say Alluring is probably a really safe bet. If you're anything, if you feel Athens runs a little light, I would say Fabulous is a great color. But message me, we can do this. But tomorrow they will have a new gift for day 2. I don't know what it is. I hate that. I wish they were more like Saint in that sense. It's really nice to give your people a heads up. So they have a great skincare line that's catered to exactly your needs. You just take a quiz, so easy. There's a link. There's a link for everything: the quiz, the shopping, the color matching, any other product you see me use, the blue marble, my primer brush. It's all linked in the description. Hit subscribe, please follow. I'm here every Monday, 8:30 Pacific time, and have a great day.